I'm joined here today by Miles John, set to fight real soon against Mario Batista at UFC 247. Big card, the John Jones card, of course. Thanks so much for joining me, man. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Thank you for asking. Let's
Yeah.
talk about it a little bit. You're fighting, coming up here in Texas. How does it feel to be fighting sort of in your backyard?
Man, it feels great. The last time was a great experience traveling to Canada and stuff. That I always kind of figured I'd have to travel for my debut, but I'm definitely happy to be able to just be pretty close to home this time. Makes it a little easier with meals and things like that. So when people come in to support and everything.
Do you think you got specifically picked for this card for the Texas aspect, or do you think it was a little bit random?
I think the Texas aspect had something to do with it, but also at the same time, a little bit random. I'm just happy to be on a pay-per-view card and such a big one at that. So it's awesome.
And I assume you have a lot of family that's going to be coming to the fight?
I do. I got a pretty big support system. Some of my Kansas people are finally able to make one this time too, and also, of course, the people here in Dallas. So it's always nice to have people in your corner.
And what was it like with the tickets? I've heard a lot of guys when they fight in the hometown, some of them have to shut their phone off. They get new family members and everything. How was that for you?
It wasn't too bad. I've had people reaching out to me and stuff about how to get tickets and that, and if I have any way to get a discount or anything like that. But I mean, that's expected. So um, it's nice to be able to just say, nope, I'm not in charge of tickets this time. It's one of the perks
Yeah,
of being in the UFC. So take some stress off.
for sure. And let's talk about your opponent a little bit. You're fighting Mario Batista. What are your thoughts on him as you go into this fight?
I think Mario's a really well-rounded fighter. He's good everywhere, but I think his big attribute is his toughness, man. He has that grit. He's going to come forward and he's going to try to take you out until the fight's over. So that's why I like this fight. I think it's a really exciting fight. I think it's a perfect test for me, and I'm looking to go in there and get the dub and level up.
And I assume you like the matchup in this one, but how do you sort of see this matchup?
I think it's a great matchup. Like I said, he's one of those guys that's going to come forward. He's not scared to fight anywhere, and that's what I like, man. I like that style of fight. So I think our styles match up well for an exciting fight for the fans, and I'm looking to get a lot of experience this fight. I perform my best when the pressure's on like this and against guys like this. So I'm excited for it.
And how's the training camp going for you right now? I assume you're at Fortis, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's been great, man. I mean, it just keeps getting better, really. Every camp, the team just keeps getting better. We just keep going out there and smashing people, after Jeff's big win over Mike Perry in the first round, and then Carlos Diego Ferreira's win over Anthony Pettis in the second round. I mean, the fire just keeps getting bigger and bigger at the gym. So we're working hard, man, and it's been an excellent camp.
And who are some guys that you're working with? I mean, you did a lot of name dropping there. Are there any specific guys you work with?
Yeah, I got a real solid team. JP Buys, he's new to the team actually. He's 8-2. I mean, this kid is just a savage. He's fought on the Contender Series 2 summers ago, I think it was, and he didn't come out victorious in that one. He was winning the whole fight, and then something happened at the end. But ever since then, just had his head down, just grinding. I think he has a real bright future in the UFC. And then Fernie Garcia has been a big help for me this one. Of course, my brother Elijah Johns, Damon Jackson, Stephen Ocho Peterson, Austin Lingo, who actually, I think it's announced he just got a fight
Yeah.
in UFC Houston as well. So he's been there with me. I mean, there's just so many guys, like too many to even name. So and not to mention, I'm still getting wisdom from the OGs like Jeff Neal, Uriah Hall, Ryan Spann, all thy guys. Macy Chiasen is in her fight camp. She's fight a week after, so we're kind of in it together with the weight cut and everything like that. I mean, it's just like everybody's in it together, And so many bantamweight, featherweight guys at Fortis that I just have a plethora of people to work with.
And everybody's always saying really positive things about Fortis. Of course, your coach, Sayif Saud. Well, what's sort of difference between this camp and this coach compared to the others? Like, what makes this so great?
Safe's just such an intelligent coach. He really studies the game. He takes a different approach to it. He just steps back and he looks at what's working now and how do we implement that. He's not just stuck in the normal. We have to do this. We have to do that. He's adapting to the times. He's ahead of the times. He sees the future in the game. And that, I think, definitely makes a difference. How we're training and the things that we do isn't just like what you would expect out of a normal MMA gym and team. Um, so that, I really think, sets the bar, and he just sets such a high level. He's such a high level individual himself, and he expects so much out of us. There's no room for anything less than that. We keep it 100% honest in the gym. If you're sucking today, then he's going to let you know. If you're great the next day, he's going to let you know as well. So it's just a place of pure honesty, and we're just trying to adapt and be ahead of the times.
And I was watching an interview with him where he was talking about his style, how he can be sometimes tough on guys, and he's got that approach like, I'm not your friend, I'm your coach, I'm in charge. How do you like that approach for you as a fighter? Is that something that you feel is better because it's structured? I mean, how is that approach for you?
Absolutely. I think that, I think that is key. Like when you're in the military, if you're in the Marines, like your head instructor is not going to be your friend. After the fights, he says like, he's not out at the bar drinking with us after our fight, celebrating, getting drunk, acting wild. He may be at the bar with the matchmakers, not drinking a sip of alcohol, just trying to plan for the next event, plan for other guys that he wants to get in the UFC or other fights that he wants to make. He's just ahead like that, man. And I think that really sets the tone when it comes to friendly, and and the coaches want to be there and kind of like a cheerleader for the fighter. And then, I think that messes things up. We look up to Sayif, and we know he's our coach and that he's going to do his job to the best of his ability. So therefore we're going to do our job to the best of our ability. You know what I mean? And it keeps that relationship the way it should be. He's a chief, and we're the soldiers, just ready to go at the call.
And we know last fight was your debut. I assume there are slightly different emotions with the octagon jitters and all that stuff. How does this fight feel going in there emotionally? Does it feel different from your debut?
It feels much different, man. I didn't really think about it as much in the camp last time, but just the fact that it was in the UFC and it was my debut, it does have an effect on you, And this one, I haven't been thinking about that at all. I'm purely focused on what I need to do. I'm purely focused on my opponent, and the fact that it's in the UFC really means nothing to me right now. After the fact, I'm sure it will a little bit, but it's been a whole different feeling. I feel a lot more ready this time. Not to say I wasn't last time, but it's just right. I feel like I grew a lot.
And last time I talked to you, we touched a little bit because you are a breeder of Goldendoodles, something that's a little bit unique. How is that going for you so far?
It's going great, man. I love it. Those are special dogs, man. They're really smart, really lovable dogs. And it's going really good. Me and my wife do that together, and we get to stay home and do that. I'm training puppies all the time. My little brother helps me train them as well. So it's been perfect, man. I got thank God for that, for setting me up with that opportunity, because I get to train and then I get to be home with my kids while I'm still running my business. So it's awesome.
Is it difficult for you having sort of this side business and then your camp as well, or I assume you have the right support system to make it work?
I have a great support system. My wife, she holds it down. She really takes care of the boys when I have to train. But aside from that, man, like I try not to make any excuses. Rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. I was just listening to some of his stuff about how it takes so much energy. When he was in his prime career, he had young daughters and stuff. Some of them were having some health issues and that, and he put so much time in at the gym. We already know how hard Kobe Bryant worked, but he's like, when I go home, there's not an excuse. Like, my kids don't know what's going on, so I'm still there for them. I'm still present. Like, I used to play games with no sleep. I'm not saying I get no sleep. I get a lot of sleep. My wife makes sure of that. But I make sure that I'm putting the time in where I need to be. When I'm training, I'm purely focused on training. I'm purely focused at the task at hand. And then when I'm home with my family, I'm purely focused on my family. I'm trying to be with my kids, take the stress of the fight off of my back, and just relax. So it's a balance, and I feel like I'm starting to map that balance. We got work to do, of course, but one of my sons is 3, and the other one is 1. So we're in the midst of the chaos, but it's I wouldn't have it any other way.
And you mentioned the late, great Kobe Bryant. What was your reaction when you found out about everything on Sunday?
Man, I was heartbroken. Part of it's like, it's crazy. He left such a legacy on this earth, and they say the good die young, and it's just crazy. But I was heartbroken. It's a different feeling because I don't know him personally. One of my friends, Darren Williams, didn't know him personally, so hearts out to him. The people that actually knew him, I can't imagine. Can't imagine how they must feel, and his family and his daughters left behind. I pray for peace for them, but for everybody else, you don't know him, but at the same time, you kind of know him if you've been listening to him. And me and my strength and conditioning coach, we're literally talking about him in a book that we've both read. Read From Good to Great to Relentless. We were talking about his mindset and how he would interact with his coaches and stuff. 2 minutes before I saw a text from my older brother saying he passed. So it was a pretty surreal thing. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it and everything, and it's just right now it's like it lit that fire for the end of the camp. It's Mamba mode right now, and no excuses, no letting off the gas, just straight pressure and get after it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people can relate with what you said. You mentioned Darren Williams a little bit. What's sort of his role in the gym? I believe he's one of the owners of Fortis, but what's his sort of day-to-day like with you guys at the gym?
He trains with us sometimes. He'll come to strength and conditioning and that. He kind of does his own thing a little bit. He's kind of on the retirement plan, which is well deserved. But it's just great having such high level people around. Like I can pick his brain a little bit. Like what were your feelings during this in your career? Like how did you do this? How did you do that? And he was such a high level basketball player and just a high level person in general. So while he's enjoying the fruits of his labor now, he still has all that knowledge and that energy that he carries about him. You just know makes you want to perform at the highest level as well. So it's great to have him around, man. He's a great addition to the gym, and it's pretty awesome.
All right, just one more for you. You've got UFC 247 coming up. How do you see yourself winning this fight?
I see myself winning in multiple ways. I know Mario's really tough. I know he has a great chin, but I see some openings, and I can see myself finishing him. But also, man, we've been grinding. We've been working hard. We're ready for 15-round war. So whatever it's out to be, man, I'm just ready to go in there and to adapt and to use my fight IQ and use my ability to win the fight.
All right, we look forward to it. It's going to be a great fight. Thanks so much for the time, man. I really appreciate it.
Hey, thank you.